big man, the Knicks and the Pacers at game 4 yesterday, if you want to call it a game. They got blown out 121-89 last night. That game actually went up with the Pacers went up by at least 43 points last night. You had Jalen Brunson only had 18 points. DiVincenzo only had 7. Hart only had 2 points, only even actually shot the ball 6 times. And you had Tyrese Halliburton put in 26 and 5. And then we got a pivotal game 5 tomorrow. My question for the esteemed panel: are the New York Knicks cooked? I'm gonna go to Pappy first.
Quite possibly. The reason I say quite possibly is because, like, bro, the injuries just piling up, bro, and I think that one of the main things, I don't know if people, I know, Brunson and Hart was getting attention, but OG to me has been a superstar in his role pretty much since he came over. I forgot what their record is when OG plays, but it's significantly better when he plays as opposed to when he doesn't play. I don't think OG is coming back. He has a hamstring strain, and a hamstring strain is usually from overuse, bro. And I'm not saying Tibbs is. I think Tibbs, the injuries have created a situation where he has to play those guys a bunch of minutes. But I also do think that, like, Tibbs was doing some of those guys a disservice, bro. Like, it should, like, there's no reason why Josh Hart first time going to the bench was in game 3, bro. Like, you could have found 4 minutes for the man to rest, yo. Yeah. And yeah, I just think that you see a lot of overwork with these guys. And again, like I even said before the series started, I think that the pace that the Pacers play at, especially when you're only playing 6-7 guys, can wear on you after a while. And I kind of think that that's kind of what you're seeing. So I won't say that they're cooked, but I'll say they quite possibly could be cooked because of just, I think, attrition, for lack of better words, is just mounting for the Knicks at this point.
I just want to say, on Friday night when the Knicks lost game 3, I tweeted, it's now a series, but it won't matter if Tyrese Halliburton don't act like he want to be there. And I got cussed out by a lot of Knicks fans in my mentions. Shout out my guy Al Patron. He said, "Oh, well, that was our, what was the word he used? That was our playing with house money game." And I was like, my brother, there's no such thing as playing house money when you're only up 2. Playing with house money is when you're up 3-0, you got an opportunity to sweep. And if you lose this one, you get to be back home for game 5. That's house money. This was not house money. This is a new series, man. I'm still taking the Knicks. I still think the Knicks have enough, and I'm still not convinced in Tyrese Halliburton being able to play up to this level for the rest of the series. He looked a lot, and it's not even the injuries. We know he's hurt, but everybody's hurt. It's the aggressiveness. In game 3, he looked like he wanted no parts of any of those shots in the second half. He looked much better in game 4, but obviously that game was over mid-second quarter. So I can't even put too much on that. I think game 5, this team, the Knicks will get a big boost from that Garden crowd. MSG has been a big factor. I think they have a big boost in that, but I just feel like they're running out of time. They're running out of bodies. You know what I'm saying? And even if they do find a way to win this series, they're going to get the hands of God put on them by the Celtics in the next round. They just don't have enough bodies. I mean, obviously, Jalen Brunson's hurt. Josh Hart, let's just be real about this. He's playing way better than he actually is this entire playoffs. Dante DiVincenzo's a good player, but this is not a big 3. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody's like, Nova Knicks is cool. They're having a great year. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Knicks, honestly. It's the first Knicks team I can actually say I actually enjoy watching. I have no problems with any of these players on this team. I'm still a Tibbs guy, even though he tried to kill Luol Deng. He had a hand in ruining Derrick Rose. I have no problem with Tibbs. But these are the kind of Tibbs things we see. A lot of Knicks fans, well, who else you want them to play? That ain't got nothing to do with it. From the jump, the amount of minutes they played coming into this season. And just, Josh Hart's the Iron Man. He played 48 minutes. He ain't supposed to play that. Give some of these other people a little bit more tick. I'm not saying run a 10-man rotation. It's the playoffs. You run 8 men at the absolute most. But now you're just seeing what happens when you run these guys too long. They're going to get tired and they're going to run out of bodies. So even if they win this series, they're not going to have anything for the Boston Celtics in the next round. But I do feel like this series is going to go 7 each way. Even if the Pacers find a way to win game 5, I do not believe they will close that at home. I think we're ready for 7 games, and who knows what's going to happen. That to me, Tyrese Halliburton is the X factor. If Tyrese Halliburton can play like the Tyrese Halliburton we've seen all regular season, I think the Pacers can win this, but it all depends on him. Bane, what you think about what you saw all these last two games in Indiana, how Game 5 can play out.
Well, I picked the Pacers to win this series, and this is part of the reason why I picked them to win this series. Tired, man. Like, you can look. I don't blame Tibbs, especially with the injuries that they had coming into the playoffs. I don't blame his rotation. And I saw a lot of talking heads say that Charles Barkley, his comments on Inside the NBA about Tibbs and the Knicks and it's being his fault, they was saying, what he's supposed to do? Well, what he was supposed to do is spread that shit out during the regular season. And that just didn't happen in the way that it probably could have. Now, when you look at the numbers, it wasn't as bad as the playoffs, but that's how it's supposed to be. And I don't even necessarily blame Tibbs. I blame the front office and not giving Tibbs the enough tools on the bench to be able to spread that out. But with that being said, man, this is what happens when the war of attrition starts happening. If the Pacers are who I believe the Pacers are, they should finish this off in 6. And it should be the Pacers versus the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. They simply have to just outscore these folks and outpace them at this point. And being that they're a team that can, if you give them the right defense not to play, if you play them not right, they'll consistently score 120 on you. And I don't think that the Knicks can consistently catch up or just be around for that. So I think that the game that you saw the other day is more like what you're going to see for the rest of the series because those boys are just beat up. No.
Dante, you grew up bang. You think the Pacers got the edge now?
I think the Knicks are done. This is something that, as Bulls fans, when you say it, it comes off as hate because our team ain't shit. But the reality is, we would tell the Knicks fans all season, and, Tibbs teams always seem to have a ceiling for some reason. Even though this Knicks team was extremely successful, it always seems to be a wall that they hit at some point, through their push for a championship. And right now, they're just getting hurt at the worst time. It's like we always talk about people getting healthy at the right time. These niggas are getting hurt at the wrong time. So, it's extremely unfortunate, but it's just the situation, and you have to play it out. And I don't think Tibbs, even though I got to give him credit, he has begun to adjust more, and he makes more adjustments. But now it seems like he's falling back into that old school Tibbs way. Well, I'm gonna ride my hot hands, you feel me? And that's where you have a guy like Josh Hart, who in a system like Tibbs, where he rewards hustle, Josh is always gonna shine in his system. I think Josh is one of those guys. He's the perfect Tibbs guy. And I agree with everything he said about, it's people working 12-hour shifts and I'm playing the game. So
that was a nice that was straight out the Bryce Harper school of pandering.
But that's one of the few times I can agree with shit like that, bro. Because he's not one of those people where if Josh was hurt, I think he would sit down, or if he needed the break. But he's saying, nah, bro, I'm all right. Whereas you have OG, who, now, like you said, the hamstring, that's a clear cut sign of just overuse. And those things, I don't think OG is going to be back this series. Just because you got to be careful with hamstrings, bro. I had a severe pulled hamstring in high school, and my shit's still not up. So, I can only imagine an NBA player running up and down the court every game when you're trying to put all of this pressure on your hamstrings. So I think OG's done for the series. And I think as a result, I think the Pacers are going to win this, bro. They blitzed them niggas in game 4. That first quarter was crazy. They could obviously it's one of those things, but when teams can't miss, it's damn, what the fuck can I do about this? But they were cooking them, and then they held on for the whole game. So I'm with you. Halliburton is going to be the key, but I think they're going to get it done. I won't sit here and say, well, it'll go 7. I won't say 6. I still think the Knicks can get another one, especially going back to the Garden. But I think in 7 games, I got the Pacers.
Yeah, I got the Knicks winning game 5. I had the Pacers game 6, and in game 7, who knows? I think that's going to be a real close up. But I need Reggie calling game 7 again. That's what I need. Just for theatrics, because Knicks fans really hate that nigga, especially most of them were 5 or not even born when Reggie was torching them niggas. That was quite hilarious.